Tonight, staff at the Port Augusta prison bring a 14-hour standoff to a dramatic end, and SA Health raises concerns over a rise in the amount of lead in the blood of young Port Pirie residents.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. The state's Corrections Department says the reason behind a 14-hour standoff at the Port Augusta prison last night remains unclear. Prison staff were forced to use capsicum spray to bring inmates under control early this morning. Amelia Simpson has more.
11 inmates staged a 14-hour protest in a high-security exercise yard, climbing onto the roof of a shelter yesterday afternoon. After several unsuccessful attempts to negotiate overnight, officers resorted to using capsicum spray, forcing the inmates to surrender.
Our officers responded as they're trained to do, and we're pleased that the outcome came with no injuries to staff.
Corrections says the incident began at 2:15 yesterday afternoon and that hours of negotiation were unsuccessful. Emergency services were on standby throughout the ordeal, but no injuries were reported. The department says the Port Augusta prison today operated under a modified regime to debrief staff. The Public Service Association says the incident reflects a bigger problem behind bars.
Prison population has increased. We haven't had enough high security beds for when these people play up.
While the Port Augusta prison recently underwent a 128-bed expansion, the PSA says there's a lack of high security spots.
Our members have been raising concerns for years about the lack of appropriate number of high security and management cells across the system, and we're calling on the government and the department to rectify this ASAP.
Corrections says the prisoners involved will be subject to internal charges and that the department and SA Police will be investigating the incident.
Amelia Simpson reporting there. SA Health is urging parents in Port Pirie to take action after an increase in the amount of lead in the blood of young children across town. Of the hundreds of kids tested, those aged just 2 years old returned the highest and most dangerous readings.
A disappointing start to 2018.
The amount of lead the children have been exposed to appears to have increased slightly over the years.
The average blood lead level of Port Pirie children has risen since the beginning of last year. At that time, the average level was 4.3 micrograms per decilitre, but now
we report 4.5 microgram per decilitre.
608 children under the age of 5 were tested throughout 2017, with 288 of those returning dangerously high readings above the 5 micrograms per decilitre benchmark. 94 of those were under the age of 2.
The average blood lead for the 2-year-olds for 2017 was 5.6 microgram per decilitre.
It's believed recent weather events have contributed to the increase in the amount of lead in the air. Port Pirie residents continue to fight the consequences of airborne lead-contaminated dust, which can be toxic to children even in small amounts.
In hot, dry, windy days, we want the house closed up. We need to wet mop the floors. We don't like soil being left bare. We like the soil, which can become contaminated or might be contaminated, to be covered over.
It's expected the amount of airborne lead dust will reduce within the next 2 or 3 years, thanks to the recent $660 million smelter redevelopment.
We certainly hope that the emissions will fall gradually over the coming years.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Police in Broken Hill say they're dismayed at the reckless behaviour of members of the public actively choosing to carry drugs. Patrick Reinke has more on a number of arrests.
At around noon on Monday, patrols stopped a man here on Thomas Street after they spotted him riding a motorbike with a cardboard number plate. It was a routine traffic stop that soon became quite serious. When officers asked the 42-year-old man about the unusual number plate, he admitted the bike wasn't registered. He also revealed he wasn't even licensed to ride it. Police then searched the man and the bike after he allegedly failed a roadside drug test. Officers say an amount of cannabis was uncovered, as well as small bags of a white crystal substance that they believe to be methamphetamine. The man was fined several times, including for riding without a licence and riding a motorbike uninsured and unregistered. Police are waiting on an oral fluid test before proceeding with further action. The next day, police found more bags of the crystal substance after searching another man in Harris Street. Police stopped the 24-year-old and after a brief conversation say they uncovered the suspected drugs in his pockets. It wasn't over yet though. After opening the rear door of their paddy wagon, the man tried to make off. The officers gave chase and later found the man hiding under a house in Ryan Street. The man has been charged with drug possession and escaping lawful custody.
A new water pipeline from Peterborough to Orroroo is being built in a bid to deliver a more reliable and higher quality water supply to local residents. It follows a positive response to a similar pipeline construction on York Peninsula.
Improving the quality of drinking water in Orroroo. At the moment, residents are reporting an extremely salty taste. SA Water's determined to fix that problem by investing around $12 million to build a new pipeline, which will draw water from the Morgan Water Treatment Plant.
Pipeline that SA Water will be installing from Peterborough to Orroroo will provide high quality River Murray water to the Orroroo township and support economic growth in the area.
The pipeline will eventually connect to the existing water network at Peterborough.
We'll be installing 36 kilometres of pipeline along the main road from Peterborough to Orroroo, as well as installing a disinfection booster station.
Construction is set to begin within the coming months, creating 20 new jobs for local residents.
Few months around the middle of the year, with the expectation that we'll be finished and have the new high quality water flowing to customers first thing in 2019.
The Yorks is also in for a new water network, connecting the lower parts of the peninsula to SA Water's main water supply.
We're installing about 38.5 kilometres worth of pipe work from Minlakawi down to Waruka and Point Turton.
The water supply will also come from the Murray River and be treated at either the Morgan or Swan River plants. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, more details revealed about a hydrogen facility set to call the EP home. That's next. Port Lincoln could soon be a world leader in green hydrogen ammonia that might solve oil shortages in the future. Regional Development believes the industry has the potential to overtake Australia's multi-billion-dollar gas exports.
Port Lincoln is renowned as the seafood capital, but that title could soon change.
Port Lincoln will be the hydrogen export capital of the world.
Last month, the state government announced the region as the location for the world's biggest hydrogen plant. The $117 million project shoring up grid power after years of discrepancy.
The wind farms, rather than turning them off, will make hydrogen. That hydrogen will be stored. That will make power back again.
Renewable energy on the Eyre Peninsula will be used to make the hydrogen, but it's the byproduct that has overseas investors excited.
The whole world right now is looking at Port Lincoln and what we're going to do in this green ammonia hydrogen space.
Green hydrogen ammonia can be used to produce fertiliser, explosives and power for fuel cells, including cars. At the moment, car manufacturers worldwide are investing into new technologies to solve the oil crisis. Green hydrogen ammonia could well be the answer.
With hydrogen, you can recharge your vehicle in 5 minutes and go for 800 kilometres and come back again.
Regional Development Engineer Peter Scott says hydrogen exports could surpass Australia's multi-billion-dollar gas industry and provide a more sustainable solution than Elon Musk's Tesla battery.
The advantage of having hydrogen rather than the batteries, you can make it go for as long as you want for how much hydrogen you can store.
German hydrogen company ThyssenKrupp will visit the region next month before construction gets underway. Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
The Whyalla Tourism Focus Group has expanded its presence in the city centre. A new office in the town's plaza will serve as an information hub for residents and visitors.
1 year and 1 week on from its formation, Whyalla's tourism focus group is making strides. As of today, the industry group has its own home, officially opening the new venture this morning in front of Polly's council staff and tourism operators.
This is another venue where people can get information, and if you become a member, you can put your brochures here, our volunteers will talk about it.
The office contains information on local attractions as well as accommodation and eating options.
We have over 700 beds in the city of Whyalla, and we all know that tourism spreads everywhere, whether it be the petrol station, whether it be the pharmacy.
Volunteers with a passion for improving tourism will manage the centre on a daily basis. It'll also be open for use for any local community organisation looking to boost its profile.
Any of the sporting clubs negotiate with us, they can use this office on their busy day.
Whyalla Mayor Lynn Brewer has welcomed the new development.
The tourists that are just driving through here and heading down to Port Lincoln, bring them into here, bring people here for holidays to go fishing and have a really good time.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Broken Hill City Council will hold its first meeting of the year tonight. With plenty on the agenda, the Mayor's expecting a very long evening in the chambers.
Back in the chair, ready for a new year.
There's over 500 pages.
Council resolved in December last year and didn't meet last month, meaning there's plenty to get through.
Council will be considering the relocation of the library to go to the Town Hall facade.
At the last meeting, councillors voted to hit the pause button on the library relocation to the Pellew and Moore building on Argent Street, a move that would have seen the city's archive stored in the basement of the Council Administrative Centre. Council is now taking another look at the idea.
Taking a motion up that we commit ourselves to the Town Hall facade, moving the archives to be together with the library.
In other matters of discussion, BHP's donation of $5.7 million to the city in 2016 to help Broken Hill embrace its heritage. $3.4 million was allocated to the archives project. Mayor Turley says if councillors vote in favour of using the Town Hall facade as part of the new library, BHP will have to be consulted.
We'll have to get permission from the grants provider, the BHP Bulletin Foundation, if we actually resolve to do that tonight.
The Mayor's expecting the embattled Civic Centre issue to be brought up, but maintains a completion date still isn't anywhere closer.
But every time we move with the Civic Centre, we discover something new that needs to be addressed.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
After the break, last-minute touches on and off the racetrack in Port Lincoln ahead of Friday's Cup Day. Details next. Whyalla will play host to one of the world's biggest DJs as part of a new music event. Will Sparks will headline the inaugural Hidden Music Festival, which is expected to bring thousands of music lovers flocking into town.
Over the past 5 years, Will Sparks has become a genuine superstar. The Melbourne-based DJ is followed by around 500,000 people on social media and has sold out shows across the world. He's now bringing his talents to the Spencer Golf, headlining a Whyalla festival in April.
He's one of the most well-booked, well-respected, most in-demand DJs, not just in Australia, but worldwide.
He'll be part of the first ever Hidden Music Festival. The 8-hour show in Whylla's Ada Rain Gardens will feature a mix of imported and local DJs. Mr. Lesky, himself a Port Pirie resident, says he wants to give regional music lovers a metropolitan night out.
I'm hoping that come April 22nd on the Sunday, it's all worthwhile and everyone has a great time.
Whyalla Council says the event hits the right note, giving the city publicity that can't be bought.
The age group is something that we just haven't been able to cater for, and Diversity Entertainment have.
Hoteliers are also singing off the same songbook. Most are close to capacity, with over 1,000 people predicted to come from out of town. And despite the logistics, they're confident it'll be a huge success.
What a wonderful site to have it in, close to the beach. What a wonderful way to show our city off.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
The Port Lincoln Racecourse is going through its final preparations ahead of Friday's Cup Day. Prelude winner Ruboy has emerged as an early favourite to win the $50,000 race that stops the town.
Preparations are on the home straight for Port Lincoln's signature race, and organisers are expecting a bumper turnout.
Probably up to 3,000 people. It'll be a fantastic event for Port Lincoln.
just a couple of days away, workers are busy adding final touches.
There's a lot involved. There's a lot of obviously temporary infrastructure to be put in place, lots of marquees and fittings to go inside those marquees, but it all comes together on the day.
This year's race will welcome a new audience. It'll be broadcast for the first time on free-to-air television.
Thoroughbred Racing South Australia is now in partnership with racing.com, so it'll be high definition vision and a wonderful experience for all people.
Come the afternoon, all eyes will be focused on the $50,000 race, and there's a few tips to watch out for.
Never Doubt Us has been in terrific form. I think Lake Jackson's a lightweight chance, and of course Ruboy, the winner of the Lock Cup and the Port Lincoln Cup Prelude, has got to be a chance as well.
But the action track side will be as hotly contested as the race itself.
Fashion at the Races will be a signature event during the afternoon. The new PIMS marquee available to the general public. Just the fun and the colour and the action of racing.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Should be a great day. Time now for Fuel Watch.
As we come to the end of February, both unleaded and diesel prices are starting to drop, but it'd still be wise to shop around for the best deal. Kicking things off with unleaded, Port Lincoln and Port Augusta have enjoyed a week of no movement. Whyalla is the first regional centre to see a drop, the average price around $1.38. Port Pirie has seen a minor drop but is still sitting on $1.35, while Cadina has seen a slight rise but is still sitting on $1.36. Prices are varied in Broken Hill with the average sitting around $1.40. Adelaide is looking remarkably cheap, a 13-cent decrease as the price sitting on $1.20. To diesel now, and everyone has had a cracking week. Port Lincoln is down by 2 cents with Whyalla and Port Augusta also seeing green. Port Pirie is now down to $1.36 and joins Cadina, who has seen no change. Here in the Silver City, we're still paying $1.39, but things are on the way down. And Adelaide continues its run of good form, ticking down to $1.30. Now remember that these prices are the regional averages, and they do not reflect any one particular outlet. If you do find a spot that does sell unleaded or diesel for cheaper, be sure to let us know on our Facebook page.
Stay with us. After the break, we'll have all the local weather details with Amy Stevenson. And Amy, it seems the Spencer Gulf is ready to farewell the summer temps.
It certainly feels that way, Fraser, with milder temperatures around the Spencer Gulf on the final day of summer. I'll have all the details next. Welcome back. Temperatures dropped in Port Augusta today, 28 the top there, while it was a cooler 25 in Whyalla, while Port Lincoln stayed in the low 20s after a warmer day yesterday. Broken Hill reached 33, while temperatures hovered in the low to high 20s in all other centres. Checking the satellite, and a trough and a cold front passing over western South Australia will bring the odd lightning strike. However, it'll stay mainly dry with strong winds picking up. Meanwhile, skies are mostly clear elsewhere in the state. If you're planning to spend time on the waters tomorrow, there will be a southeasterly wind shifting southwesterly up to 20 knots. Seas will reach 2.5 metres and the sun will pop up at 7:06. Taking a look at tomorrow's conditions, and temperatures will creep back up into the low 30s in Port Augusta, while Whyalla will reach 26. Port Lincoln can expect a top of 23, while in Woodna and Corn, temperatures will creep back up towards 30 degrees. A warmer day also in Broken Hill, reaching 30, while temperatures hovering in the mid to high 20s in all other districts. Looking towards the weekend, and the cooler change will hang around in Port Lincoln with temperatures staying in the low to mid 20s. Cleve can expect 26 on Saturday before 24 on Sunday, while in Woodna temperatures will creep back up towards the low 30s before a fine 28 on Sunday. Further up the Gulf, and Whyalla can expect temperatures in the mid to high 20s over the weekend. Temperatures will rise in Port Augusta, reaching 33 on Saturday before a slightly cooler 29 on Sunday. Meanwhile, Cadina will see a few milder days with temperatures hovering in the high 20s. Port Pirie will remain slightly warmer over the weekend and 33 on Saturday, while Clare will reach 26 on Sunday. However, Broken Hill can expect a warmer weekend, reaching 36 on Saturday before 33 on Sunday. So Fraser, despite the warmer weather, the first few days of autumn will bring a range of temperatures around the Spencer Gulf.
A change is on the way. Thanks, Amy. And that's all from the newsroom for now. Thanks for joining us. I'll have news breaks later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.